All right, Jen, we have a giant 98-inch TV, which is not new for us.
No.
Not the first one in the house, not even the first one in the house from TCL, to be honest, but there is something unique about this one.
Yeah, you're right. We got this one at Costco. So not only can you get a 15-pound pork butt to make shredded pork for the whole team, but you can also get your big 98-inch TV there.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of bulk products, this fits right in. You know, your triple ketchups or your double gallons of milk. Giant TV right in there. And this is a little bit different than some of the other TCLs, and we'll explain that, but we should probably start unboxing it, and I'll give you more deets.
Let's get to it.
So we had the first 98, which was the S5, and that was a really good TV in 2023. The first 98-inch from TCL, I believe, that we've had. And then we got the Q6 last year, Jen. That was the one with Bijan Robinson on there, and I think you made a comment about sports because you're a Steeler fan.
Yep.
No Atlanta Falcons or whatever, which was also really good. So really good TVs, and both were inexpensive. But this year we have the QM6K, which is a really good TV, more generally available. And now QM6K Pro, which is Costco exclusive. And what this TV gives you is the Crysglow HVA panel, which is a new type of panel that is better off-angle viewing. So we're gonna show you guys that in a minute, but it's very similar to this TV right here. This is the 115-inch QM7K, which has that same panel, but now we have it in the 98-inch QM6K Pro. And the other thing that you get inclusive that you don't normally get at other places is a 2-year warranty from Costco, which is really good.
And the food samples.
Oh yeah, well, food samples, obviously that's really awesome.
It's the best.
But 2-year warranty, come on.
Yeah.
Big TV, 2-year warranty, awesome. What you pulling out of there, Jen?
I've got your bag of goodies right here, where we've got our cords and remote and all that.
Cool. We'll have that sit to the side. Easy for me to say. I think I did read something about the feet being slightly different for this TV, but I don't know. They look pretty similar to me for these big 98-inch TVs.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe shorter? I don't know. We'll have to see.
All right, so that's all that's on the top. Should we unsnap the back here? You got snaps on that side too?
Snapbacks and tattoos.
All
Just
right.
the one.
Just one?
Yep.
Oh, so I got to open it up from this side?
Yeah, do the work, Brand.
All right. So we got to take it your way then, right?
Indeed.
You want to take this box and I'll hold the TV?
Sure. You got the TV?
Yeah, actually, I'll walk down to it. I won't let it tip. I got you back. Let's go.
Watch out, Caesar.
One good thing about these TVs, like if you're gonna take it from Costco yourself, is that they're packaged very well. So like, obviously you have to have a big truck or something to get this in there. But to have this cardboard and then have some styrofoam with more cardboard on the inside and really good styrofoam around, obviously this is gonna be great for keeping this in one piece, hopefully, on the way home. So
yep,
that is
secure.
important if you're gonna watch this TV. Yeah, can we take it? Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. All right, Jen, so now we have to take these two pieces off and then put the feet on. This is a little bit of a challenge. Do you want me to hold the TV and then you'll put the feet on?
Yeah, sounds good. There it is.
There we go. They have that weird, like, bendable styrofoam underneath there, which kind of makes it hard to put the feet on. But I would imagine that gives it a little bit more shock absorption on the bottom so it doesn't damage the TV if it kind of hits down. You know. Got to work around things. Let's open it up. You want to grab the feet?
I do. I really do.
Don't let go of this TV. Make sure you have two people because this thing will tip over. Probably. Let's see. Yeah, it'll tip over. There are instructions right here. It tells you what to do. We've done it a couple times, but you know, do as they say.
Oops.
Hey-o.
Okay, so we got the screws right inside here. We got a little cord management. Got 3 screws, 3 holes.
So it looks like we just have one placement, like a wider placement of these. And I don't know if it can go higher or lower. Looks like there are a bunch, so you probably can get a little bit higher, a little bit lower. You want to go a little bit lower so we get our fingers under it? Yeah, looks pretty good there.
I think that'll do it.
Okay, so we got the feet on. Shall we move this over here and get some of this trash out of the way?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, you count to 3. Let me know when you're ready.
1, 2, 3.
All right. All right.
There we go.
Good deal, good deal. Caesar,
Got
you
it?
got the box? You want the box, Caesar?
He does not want the box.
All right, let's lift it up, Jen.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
All right, awesome. It's not the heaviest we've lifted.
No, we've had worse.
It's not light, but it's not the heaviest.
Yeah.
All right, ready to pull the plastic, Jen?
You know me, I'm always ready to pull the
Do you need a step stool, or you think you can reach it all?
I think I probably need a step stool.
All right, you start. I'll get a step stool. Let's
Okay.
roll.
Yeah. Hey, Bran, why don't you bring over that stool for me?
I was just waiting for you to say the word.
Ugh, I like it. Just sitting there waiting for me. As it should be.
Right, sure. You got it. You got it.
Oh, look. I rounded the corner.
Wow, was that satisfying?
It was very satisfying. I love it.
Jen, look who I ran into outside when I was throwing the plastic away. We got Jolster 4K here, a fellow TV reviewer.
How's it going?
Actually returning the Vision Master Pro from Valerion, which we'll talk about in a second, but this is the QM6K Pro. Big TV, huh?
Huge.
You fit a few of these in your house?
No. I have no space for that. That's why I use projectors.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What is this, 98 inches?
This is a 98 inch, yeah. So, I mean, people can get this now at Costco for under $2,000. It's kind of like that balance of like giant TVs were expensive, but now it's a lot more affordable.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
You know, that's definitely a cool TV.
It looks bigger than 98 inches, to be honest.
Yeah, and then we got the TCL 115 inch right here.
Oh, wow.
They actually have the same panel and they have the same anti-reflective properties. So that's the benefit of getting the one at Costco. Better anti-reflective capabilities as well.
I can see that here, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Up to 500 dimming zones, I think, as well. The S5 and the Q6 before it was mini LED actually didn't have dimming zones. They were just like, you know, direct lit. So this is now, I believe, mini LED and 500 dimming zones.
I wish I could fit this in my house, to be honest.
Here we go, Joseph. Let's take it to your truck. Let's
do
go.
it. Let's do it. How heavy is it?
It's not too bad.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not that bad.
It's not bad. Definitely heavier than like the 75, 85s, but
because
you know,
it looks heavy, but it's not that heavy.
It does look good.
I've had worse.
Oh, wow. So it's got a couple of subs right here?
Yeah, Onkyo Ultra Bass. So typically the 98-inch TVs have a better sound system. You know, most people would still probably go with a sound bar. Yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna put this on the wall in your living room, a lot of people are doing that, man. I don't think you necessarily have to have a sound bar. With that sort of sound system, it's a little bit better. And then we got HDMI ports on this side. 4 HDMIs as per usual on these big TVs. 2 of them look like they are 4K at 144 hertz, which is the natural refresh rate of this TV, I would say. 144 hertz panel. Then number 4 there is actually the ARC eARC, which is nice that it's not on one of those high-speed ports. Got a couple of USB ports, your Ethernet line, and then obviously you got your cable line and your digital audio output. And then we have the VISA pattern. It looks like it's 500 by 600, and that's totally normal. It's a little bit bigger than some mounts, but the thing is it's really low on the TV. I haven't seen a TCL with it this low. So you put your mount down here, it's fine. The TV can extend up on the wall above it. That's not a problem, to be honest. It just might fit differently if you already have a wall mount on the wall. It might put your TV up a lot higher than you expect if you just change one for one, but not a big deal. We should turn the TV on. Let's grab the remote, Jen.
Yeah, I want to see how this baby works.
Jen, you got the remote?
I sure do.
You ready to see this?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I want to see that.
Okay, well first, let's take a look at this remote. We have our standard power button, mute, of course, our directional pad. We've got our volume and channel, and then some of your TV favorites right here. But let's turn it on.
So Joester had to take off, and while the TV is actually setting up, I did want to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Valerion, and AWOL Vision, to be honest, because now Valerion is under AWOL Vision, 2 products, 1 brand, short throw and long throw projectors. Now we've had the AWOL Vision LTV 3500 Pro in the house with 150-inch screen and 132-inch screen, and obviously that's a lot bigger than any big screen TVs on the market these days. Really awesome for your home theater, dark room experience, especially the short throw if you don't want to project across across the room, 3000 lumen, Dolby Vision, all the things you could hope for. And then Valerion came out with their new long throw projectors, which are even more dynamic because you can put them in any sorts of room. We even took it outside, and now we have the Vision Master Pro 2, which is like the top tier model, and that can project up to a 300-inch screen. But we got this 180-inch pop-up that was really awesome and absolutely gigantic outside. Now this Vision Master Pro 2 has a zoom that goes 0.9 to 1.5 to 1 throw ratio, in addition to up to 15,000 to 1 contrast ratio, on top of it having up to 3000 ISO lumens. So really dynamic, awesome projector. The Pro 2 also supports IMAX Enhanced, Dolby Vision, Active 3D, and Filmmaker mode, as well as has the Google TV operating system that we love. And if you're a gamer, it has input lag as low as 4 milliseconds if you're playing 1080p at 240 hertz. So pretty cool that Valerion is now part of the AWOL Vision family. So whether you need an ultra short throw or a long throw projector, you've got options across both brands. And Valerion is celebrating their 1-year anniversary by offering up to $1,578 in savings. So you buy a Vision Master Pro 2, get the screen, mount, and 3D glasses for free. And some lucky customer is going to win a full order refund. So check the website out for more details on that. And same goes for AWOL Vision. Buy a flagship projector, get a speaker or screen for free, up to 50% off. This is better than Prime Day. So make sure you check the links in the description below, and thanks to Valerion for sponsoring the video. But back to the TV, the QM6K Pro looks really nice here. We set it up, and again, we have the 98-inch version. In the past, the S5, that was 2 years ago, and the Q6 of last year, we had the 98 of those, but then the smaller sizes below the 85-inch were actually a little different, and they had like 60 hertz panels, and so they weren't rated as highly as the 98s that we got. But this year, the 75, 85, and 98-inch are all 144 hertz panels. They all are mini LED. They have the dimming zones, and so you're starting off in a really good place if you're getting this at Costco, this Pro Series version of this TV. And of course, you get the Google TV operating system with this TV, and most TCLs, I believe. Really nice operating system. When I was at this recent case study, it was pretty unanimous that the Google TV operating system was the best. It seemed to be the easiest to use and most useful, giving you the opportunity to resume shows that you were watching, find a lot of content that you might want to watch. It didn't give you too much ads, but at the same time, gave you things to think about versus something like an Apple TV that was kind of just more boring, or some of the other operating systems that were not very useful at all. It has an absolute ton of apps, including a couple different free TV channels. You get Google Free TV Play here, but you also get the TCL TV Plus. So if you don't want to get cable, there's a ton of things to watch. And then it has the Apple TV as well. So if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you can, connect your phone very easily, or just kind of resume things that you were watching in that ecosystem as well. And look, it even recommends content. Like you can watch a fantastic robot lawnmower video that I made right there if you wanted to. In fact, I already did. And it's cool how it blows it up and gives you like a big thumbnail up there. It's just a very well done operating system. And then if you exit out a couple times, you actually get some nice art on the screensaver mode. So if your TV's just on in the background, no problem, get some cool art. So I think one of the reasons you'd get this big TV is for big American sports. So maybe we should pop into YouTube TV and check out how it looks when watching that sort of content. See if it can keep up with the speed of sports and how immersive it is on this giant screen. Right off the bat, I can tell you this is going to be pretty awesome for watching sports. I was watching some basketball on it, watching some football, excited for the NBA Finals, and at the same time excited for the NFL to start. So again, big American sports, definitely a good use case for it, and brighter than I remember the Q6 and the S5. I do think it also is going to be better with regards to contrast because this actually has dimming zones. Those two TVs were direct lit, and this is the first time the 6 series or the one below like the Q7 or QM7 actually has both mini LED and dimming zones. Not a ton of dimming zones. I think it maxes out at around 500, but still for a more entry level or mid-tier mini LED, that's going to be awesome. Another benefit is that Crysglow HVA panel, much better off-angle viewing than even the QM8 that we had a couple years ago. I do remember that TV was really awesome from straight on anyways, but from an angle, it started to fall off, and I remember we lose a lot of color, and I was watching it from off angle and a little bit disappointed while other people loved it from straight on. This looks a lot better off angle. You don't really lose any color off angle. There's a little bit less contrast, but still, it holds up pretty well in a wide room. So if you're going to be watching sports from all over the room, it's pretty awesome. One downside though, when we did add interpolation to the motion, it added a little bit of a double image. So that was a little weird. When you're watching fast sports left to right and the players on screen were a certain size, not really small and not really big and slow, but when they're in kind of middle and it was moving really fast, you could kind of see the double image of the person. We We checked that out and then we removed the interpolation. We just turned it off from our custom interpolation we normally do, and there was no issue at all with it off. So it's kind of pick your poison there, because if you want to add some motion interpolation to make it look smoother, you're going to have some artifacting is what it's called. But if you turn it completely off, it might be a little bit more herky-jerky, but I actually like it because there was no issue and the picture quality held up. And to me, fast sports is probably the hardest thing to show on the SDR footage here, like YouTube TV. So I think we should go to HDR movies because that's the other use case probably. So now that we're watching some of our favorite HDR animated and regular movies, looks really good. Definitely a big fan of how immersive these larger screens are, as you guys know watching this channel. But besides the size, you also get a very bright picture for a TV at this price point. But it does depend on what you're watching, because we were trying to watch some Marvel movies to see how that would look, and it's a little harder to show on camera because they're a little darker, they're graded differently, and if you're in a darker scene in a widescreen movie that's graded differently, it's not going to look quite as good as some of these animated movies for you guys anyways. But overall, dark scenes look good when you're in person here. You do have decent contrast as well, like we talked about in SDR. I don't see any of the motion issues we were talking about before, no artifacting. This isn't moving, I guess, fast enough like the sports was. Even with this on custom with a little interpolation added, the processing and the motion looks pretty good. Now, gaming is another way that you can really enjoy the QM6K Pro. We got 144 Hertz on 2 of the HDMI ports, and the third or eARC port is not one of those 2. So really it's awesome because of the 4 HDMI ports, you can have something regularly connected to it. You could have a soundbar connected to the eARC port and then still have 2 gaming consoles and or a PC and get up to 144 Hertz, which is awesome. And we started playing Fortnite and got into it, and then I was messing around pulling up the actual game bar, which is nice, and saw that it was only 60 frames per second, but I wanted to change it to 120 because I was pretty sure you could play it, and it got a lot more responsive in 120 FPS. So really nice there. VRR is also an option, but I tried to turn that on and it took us out of the screen completely. So don't do that mid-game or it'll mess it up. It did give us an opportunity to kind of calibrate the white balance, add shadow detail, all that. So now it looks a lot better in general, much brighter colors, better contrast, much more responsive gaming. So yeah, you have basically all the gaming features that you could want with this QM6K Pro, again, at a great price, really immersive size in this 98-inch. And so really, we just want to talk about a couple of the tests that we ran before we then talk about buying advice here. So first we have the anti-reflective capabilities of the screen to talk about, which we kind of showed earlier on, very similar in this HVA panel to the QM7K, which is good, but not perfect. Let me explain. So we saw at CES, the regular QM6K had more of like a matte-like finish, which if you don't have a ton of ambient light in the room, it's gonna be fine. It's just gonna not show as much reflections and more just like a matte finish in general. If you're in a really bright room though, sometimes that can kind of change the way it looks. And these QM6K Pro and the QM7K have more of like an anti-reflective coating that knocks down the reflection and kind of spreads it across the room. So if you have a big window or something, it kind of looks like this where you'll dissipate it across the screen, and that does help reduce the reflection, but not very aggressively like some of the higher end QLED or mini LED TVs. So it's okay in that regard. But in general, I can still kind of see a lot of the reflections going on. And so I would say this is an above average anti-reflective coating, but it's not perfect. And when we were watching movies and TV and stuff in a well-lit room, it's got a little bit distracting. So it's not going to be quite as good as your highest level TVs, as I just said, but I still think it's going to be good at this price point and better than most. Now for blooming, I think that the QM6K Pro actually does a really good job, because both from straight on and from an angle, you really don't see a whole lot of blooming. A couple years ago, TVs that were really expensive had a similar 500 or less dimming zones. In some instances, the top TVs only had like 100 dimming zones, and they were worse than this. And so in 2025, with a 98-inch TV under $2,000, you're getting 500 dimming zones and a processor that's controlling them well. So I think it looks great. I don't really notice any blooming from straight on. So I think blooming will be a non-issue. And then lastly, we have the dirty screen effect test. So a lot of the LED, mini LED TVs can have that dirty screen or uniformity issues. It's just kind of the way it goes with these type of TVs. The goal is to see as clean of a screen as possible. And I didn't really notice anything when watching content, but you can kind of see a little bit of like a streak going down the middle, very minimal. On the right side, maybe just a little blotchiness, but overall, again, I don't think it's too noticeable, and it can vary from panel to panel. So again, a price point under $2,000, 98-inch TV, you're gonna have a little flaw here or there possibly, but I think this would be pretty acceptable. And so I didn't notice it then, and I'm only noticing when I do this test. So let's get to kind of the buying advice about this TV specifically. So the QM6K Pro, I guess, sits above the QM QM6K below the QM8K, below the QM7K. So that's sort of the hierarchy of TCL TVs in 2025. But I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between this and the QM7K above it and so forth. I think this is a really great option because you get the same quality out of this 98 inch as you do an 85 inch and a 75 inch. So there's no like 60 hertz at a certain size and lower that you have to worry about. So my review here should stand firm for all three sizes that I see at Costco. And that's the other thing. Having this exclusive at Costco is awesome. A lot of people have Costco memberships in the US, and we know that buying big items at Costco is the thing. So if you're in there looking for a new TV, this is going to be front and center, and I think it's a great option. When it comes to the price point, this being $2,000 is still rather expensive for a large screen, right? So if you're looking at a 98 inch, this is a great option. If you're looking for something in between that range, or you're saying I could deal with an 85 inch, which is still enormous, of course, that's $1,200. So just over half the price for a little bit smaller of a size. And then if you're between a 75 and an 85, you're talking about $850 for a 75 inch. And you know, there's other 98 inch TVs out there, but they're typically much more expensive for how this performs. I know the new Bravia 5 from Sony is coming out. That sits at $6,500, and it doesn't have that like anti-reflective coating we're talking about, but I haven't reviewed that, so I don't know how it would compare. But other TVs in this size with this many features typically is more than $2,000. So what you guys should do is go into your local Costco store and check this TV out for yourself. It's on display. You can pick it up and take it right there, or check out the website and you can buy it online. And make sure if you're looking for something even larger, gigantic projectors that can go up to 300 inch, make sure to check out the Valerion and the AWOL Vision links in the description below. Better than Prime Day deals going on right now. So check those out in the description, and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the TCL, Valerion, AWOL, any of that. I'm happy to answer what I can. We'll see you guys in the next video.